specific. How long is it going to take them to realize?
Mabz, how long do you think it'll take everybody
No
to realize?
time.
Yeah, but welcome to the Ask Anything session with Mabz, coming live from the Happy Ever Crafter Kitchen Island. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to pull up the thread on my phone of the questions that were submitted because there were a lot of questions submitted. Mabz, people want to know things from you.
And I took a little peek, and I have to say, as somebody who is multifaceted, I think I like that it's not just all business questions. I like that there is
these
like me questions.
We talk about art a little bit, but it's more like
just about the person.
About the person, and also like the real life behind the scenes of what it's like to be this type of artist.
Okay.
Human. I like that I can turn my head and look at you instead of having to just do that. But it also probably looks weird for the people who are watching. So I don't know. Maybe we should just be on one. Okay, whatever. Yeah, but we've had a lot of like, it's just turned into like lots of chats about an honest look at what it's like to run this kind of business, which I think that you're the right person to ask for honesty from. If anybody, okay, actually, how about this? How about for people who don't know who the heck you are and like how you're even in my home and stuff, like talk to people about who you are and what you do. And let's start there.
Okay, my name is Mabz. Is that my real name? Nope. My real name is Marie-André Brisson, and Mabz is an acronym. So it's my initials. And yes, you can call me Mabz. People often ask, like, can I call you that? Yes.
I remember thinking that when I hadn't met you yet.
Yeah, you absolutely can call me Mabz. I actually prefer it. The only people who can are my parents, because it's just really weird when they do.
They call you Marie.
Marie, yeah. Never Marie-André either. It's just like, why give me the longest name in the world if you're only going to use the first part? And I am a hand lettering artist, calligrapher, and muralist. I would say those are probably like the titles I hold near and dear to my heart.
Someone said they could have you repeat your name over and over again. I think they mean in French. Can you say it like 5 times?
Marie-André Brisson.
No, whisper gross.
Okay, Marie-André Brisson. So if I anglicize it, but wait, it's like Marie-André Brisson. So Marie-André Brisson. Marie-André is my first name, so it's a hyphenated first name.
Marie-André.
Mm-hmm.
Marie-André Brisson.
And that's not even my full name. There's Marie-André Joanne Brisson is technically my full name. So like they gave it to me. They wanted to use all the alphabet letters.
They did it. But now it's just Mabz with a Z, a Z for flair.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you in my house?
Because we're best friends.
I feel like I've asked you that question a bunch of times. Why are you in my house?
Well, I do have the code for the door. So if you don't want me just walking in, you might have to change it because it's in there. I know it by heart now. Yeah, because we're working on our course together.
Hey, there's a Marie-André Paquette.
I've only ever issued with 2 E's. My friend.
She said people call her Map.
Oh, that's a good one.
You gotta add a Z for flair.
Yeah.
Maps.
That's cool.
Okay, yeah, but Mabz is in my house because we, for those of you who don't know, are writing a course together, all about signage. And so for the past little while, I've been forcing her to come into my home once a week so we can actually work on it together.
Now that we're allowed.
Now that we're
doing
allowed.
Zoom during lockdowns and
yeah.
But now that it's safe to be together,
yeah.
And I can hug her.
Also, I feel like there are some people who probably saw the like Ask Becca Anything session that Mabz hosted on my YouTube channel. Did we talk about the hugging thing
on there?
Yeah.
I think maybe you said like I'm one of the only people that you let hug you.
I'm just not a huge like I will hug like Ryan and my family and my best friends.
See how she didn't include me in that list.
No, I hug Mabz now, but like Mabz is a huge hugger.
Very
so like
touchy.
When we didn't really know each other though, I feel like probably the first time we ever met,
I definitely brought you in.
She goes in for hugs on strangers and I just can't fathom that. Like If someone really wants to hug me, sure. I'm just not like
You should
I
always
would
ask
never
permission.
I would never approach somebody that I don't know and go in for a hug. I'm just not, it's just not in my nature. But Ryan's family is very huggy. Like, is your family very huggy? They must be. If you were,
my immediate family is like, I once had a friend tell me I was spoiled with love. So I come from a very like huggy, touchy, cuddly family.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what the hugging thing is, but we couldn't hug during COVID and we did Zoom working. And so then when she came to my house to work for the first time, it was like,
squeezed
there
her
were
good.
lots of hugs. Okay, let's get into some of these questions people submitted. Franca said, first of all, I love Mabz Brisson and I love you, Becca Cordes. Thank you. So when you are together, it is a joy for the eyes and for the soul.
Oh, that's cute. That sounds like an Oprah thing.
Yeah. Second question. Well, no, that was first of all. Second of all, what's your favorite movie or song or food? I guess all three. The question is for both of us, she said.
See, I read this yesterday and I was like, I need to think on it because I'm very mood-based for all those things. I have favorite shows and movies for like, depending, do I want to cry? Do I want to laugh? Same with food. Do I want to be comforted? Do I want to not give a poop about what's going in? I like.
Why don't we just say right now that you're allowed to swear, and we'll tell people if you have kids in the room to put headphones in, because it's really unnatural for Mabz to not swear.
I can hold my tongue. I don't swear in front of my kids. Yeah. I used to be a camp counselor, so like I know when to turn it off. It's just, sometimes
it's just like there where you said poop. I could tell you really didn't want to say poop.
Yeah, but I didn't know like if shit was bad. Some people say shit's bad.
Yeah. Well, anyway, put headphones in if your kids are in the room. Sorry. So, okay. So let's just, no, you can only pick one food, one movie, one song, one food. I'll go first because mine are easy. Food. Well, if it has to be a meal, I would say probably pasta, like any pasta. If I had to be more specific, spaghetti probably. Song Let Her Cry by Hootie and the Blowfish. It's just always been my favorite song. And movie, Billy Madison.
Okay, so song, I really like Mr. Brightside and Toxic. So Mr. Brightside,
like Britney Spears Toxic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like those ones, if they come onto the radio, I don't change the radio.
I don't know Mr. Brightside.
You do. I don't want to sing on this.
Like the Killers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody does.
Okay. Yeah.
Food, I always, for some reason, like just fried chicken comes to mind. But
chicken and waffles?
Oh, I love both of those things. I love sweet and salty together.
Yeah.
I love eggs Benedict. That's delicious. Love spaghetti.
Okay, you can have one choice. You're naming all sorts of different things. One thing.
Also love corn fritters.
Oh my God.
It's a difficult question, honestly. And then what was the other thing? Movie. Titanic, great. Anything with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. That's your answer. You don't have to keep saying more.
But up until the second DVD or movie, I don't like once people start to die, turn it off. I just love the love parts.
Okay. That was a long first question. You two make a great team.
Thanks.
Yeah, we do. When you start or when you're on a project, what is something Mabz does better or comes easier to her than Becca? And what does Becca do better than Mabz? How about I'll answer what you do better and you answer what I do better?
Okay.
You do florals better than me. Yeah, I do.
Becca is really, really good at block letters and client communication. Much because I'm she's best to deal with the people because she's like she knows.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good answer, and we're dealing with it currently. I love how I can see my elbow in your. Yeah, we're dealing with that currently. We both, so someone saw a job that we did together on a store a long time ago. Some of you might have seen it, the like bubble tea big front windows. And another bubble tea store owner reached out to us wanting us to do something similar for him, but he reached out to both of us separately. And so Mabz was like, did you get that email? And I was like, did you get that email? And like, he wanted us both to work on it, but for some reason emailed us both separately. So yeah, it kind of turned into just like, which one of us is going to take the reins. We're going to do it together, but which one of us is going to communicate with the client? So Mabz even texted me yesterday and was like, I think I'm glad you do the client thing. And I was like, well, you can copy paste those answers and use them like for the future.
I need that, like, it's not that you're stern or anything. There's no BS. And so I need a little bit of that to rub off on me. Because I'm too friendly.
You're like overly friendly. And I think, we talked about that, Joanne and I talked about that in Panic Free Pricing, where it's like, you have to be super friendly with your clients. Obviously, like you want them to be happy and like you and whatever. But you also have to have a boundary.
I can't separate the business Mabz and the just Mabz. Which
is like a great thing because you're always you. And like, clients want to hire you because you're fun to work with and stuff, but also like when push comes to shove and like if something goes wrong or whatever, I
just fall apart and cry
and
text back up, what do I do?
I also think it just helps that I had a corporate background before, so I like remember when you started working with me and I had to teach you what a CC was?
I was thinking about that. Somebody said carbon copy the other day. I'm like, oh, that has something to do. I still don't know. So I Google it every time. There's BCC or BBC?
Blind.
No, that's TV.
B stands for blind. So like if you BCC someone, the other person you're sending it to can't tell that you copied them on that email. So you would do it like in a corporate setting, for example. If someone is like coming at you,
for our last email, and then
you could blind copy your boss so that they see the communication, but the person doesn't know your boss is seeing it. It's very sneaky, very sneaky.
Gotcha.
Or it'd be like if you're sending a mass email to like 20 people and you don't want to like disclose
all the people's
email addresses, you would blind CC them.
I still don't remember that.
So that's the point, is like the businessy, the like more formal things.
Yeah.
But Mabz is better at being more fun, for sure.
I'll take
it. Either way, this person's right that we complement each other well on those things. How is it that the two of you met? And also, what do you think makes you click so well? I think we just answered the click part from a business side, but from a personal side, you go.
Yeah. When did friendship happen? Like the work happened first and then friendship kind of
tell the story how you remember it.
Like me sending you that email?
Yeah, start there.
So I sent Becca an email. I've done this to many people. She's probably one of the only ones who like actually replied. Just being like, hey, I posted about it not that long ago. So you can find it on my Insta feed. It's one of those like how it started, how it's going posts. She actually had to do it for me because I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to align the photo and the words. I couldn't do it. So she did. And so, I sent her an email just being like, maybe we can meet up, be friends. We'll like work together sometime. And then you invited me to help you for
a job
at the Andaz. And then
I had a job for a big hotel chain, like sitting at one of their events and doing some like live lettering stuff. And they wanted me to do something like pretty significant for every single person who walked in the door. And I was like, I can't do this myself. So I invited Mabz blindly. I had never worked with her before. It was good. It worked.
Yeah. How nervous was I? Very. And then after that, I don't know what our next thing together would have been. But then I had tickets to the Junos.
That was it.
And you came with me.
She took me to a concert thing. I mean, a lot of people don't know what the Junos is if they're not in Canada.
Yeah.
But it's like the Canadian
Music Awards.
Yeah. She had tickets to that.
So we saw Shawn Mendes.
I remember specifically, we were sitting.
I know what you're about to say.
Do you? Mm-hmm. We were sitting. This is a classic like Mabz versus Becca, like different personality types moment. We're sitting at our seats and it was like probably 20 minutes before the event started or whatever. And these guys come and like sneak past us to get to their seats, and they sit down, and Mabz just goes, "Hi, how are you? How's it going?" Like just starts chatting with them. I'm like, I would never, like, I would say hi, or I would just smile at them or whatever. Like I would look friendly, but Mabz was just like, "Hey, how's it going? How are you?" Like blah blah blah, and like not in like a flirty way or anything. It was just like a friendly to everybody way. I feel like that's a good anecdotal piece of evidence of like your personality versus mine.
Well, like if you're gonna be sitting beside somebody for hours, you want to know that they're a decent person, you know, like just like an airplane.
You want to know what their favorite Shawn Mendes song is when he comes on.
Oh, Shawn Mendes, so cute.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we met anyway. And it's all kind of, I feel like I invited you to the cottage once after that.
And then I've just leeched myself on.
And it was probably around that point where she said, "I'm going to be in your wedding someday." Yeah. And I was like, "I've known you for 5 minutes."
Oh, no.
Oh my God, Dory. Dory's in the chat. Dory's one of the mentors.
Hello.
And Lori's in there. Lori's also a mentor. But Dory said, "I've loved following you on Instagram and like how open you are about everything. Just wondering if you have ever seriously considered becoming a beauty blogger." Okay.
I would love that. The only thing I think I'd be bad at is just the maintenance and having to keep up with all the change. I'm becoming very aware of not buying just to buy and throwing things away. And I don't like the waste that's involved in something like that.
I literally 10 minutes ago, I was putting eyeliner on, and I almost said to you, I hate how there's this much eyeliner in it and the stick is this long.
Yeah.
Like the not liquid, but it's not a pencil. It's like a plastic,
like the twisty.
Yeah, but it doesn't twist. It's only the amount that's there when you first get it, unless I'm an idiot. I'll show it to you after.
You might be an idiot.
I don't do makeup that much.
But yeah, I just like I like playing with makeup. I don't really do it very much now because one, COVID, but two, you know, mom life and stuff. But love makeup, love playing around with it. And it's just not something I do very much these days, but yes, I would.
Can you see if while I'm reading the next question, you can pull up the time you put makeup on to look like a dude? Yes. Okay, so at the start of COVID, we have like a group of friends who we've all met through like the Ottawa business sphere, but we've become like a very good group of friends. And over COVID, we would get together every once in a while and do like a themed Zoom party. And one of them was dressed like men, and Mabz's makeup and just the way she did it, like she looked like a hot guy.
That's Marc-André, my alter ego. Look how sexy. I would date. He's a bit of a douchebag, I think.
Oh, do you have it of all of us?
Wait, I had to do all photos, and I also did it with my hair out. So he had long hair too.
But like, look at the facial hair. You look like that's actually magical man makeup. Like you're good at makeup.
Okay, all of us. Yes. Oh my God.
I was a hockey player. Yeah, zoom in on me.
Wait.
No. I had a full set of hockey.
You look like somebody called Paul.
Paul.
Not Paul, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So that's the makeup question. Okay, I feel like this we'll get a little more serious now. You have such an amazing personality and contagious laughs. Your recent stories seem to suggest you too have self-doubt moments despite being such great artists. Any advice for new artists who are trying to find our own style and mojo?
Yes, you're correct. It's tough though. It can be a high-low kind of roller coaster. I think that in the moments where you're feeling like really proud of yourself, making a point of documenting it so that you can like remind yourself, or even like, you know, get the phone memory or go back to it later if you're feeling like crap. That helps a lot, because it's like I get that, and then being able to remember like, oh, I've been up here and I can go back there. It's something that you have, like I have to work on all the time. I don't know if I'll ever feel like I've reached where I want to be, you know, but that might just be life and being a human. So
I was talking to somebody about this the other day about there's like I can't it's I have to Google what it's called. It's not Murphy's Law. It's like a different like law like that where what is it, like a paradox or something. Anyway, it's when you are a beginner artist or a beginner anything, but artist in this case, and you when you're first starting out and you learn some new skills and then you think like, oh my God, I'm really good at this. And then you get better. And when you get better, you realize how bad you were and like how bad you probably still are, because there's still so much more to go to become. It's like the better you get or the further into something you get, the more you doubt yourself. Because, and I find that true for me. When I first learned calligraphy, I was like, oh damn, I'm really good at this. And now when people are like, oh my God, you're a professional calligrapher, I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that good. And they're like, are you kidding me? You're amazing. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, look at this person and look at that person. Like, I'm not that good. And it's just a mindset. Like,
yeah, it really is. I remember this one thing that I did a chalkboard ages ago. And like, it was when I was really like just starting. And one of my friends was pumping me up and she's like, it's so good. And I was like, thank you so much. And then now I look at it, I'm like, that was garbage.
Was she lying to me?
Well, no, I think she honestly, like at the time, it's not like she follows calligraphers or anything like that either. So she probably just looked pretty to hers. So, but then, yeah. And it's funny how like super pumped, but now I look at it, I'm like, that wasn't very good. But then I know that's like probably similar to what I do now, something I do now. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. In a year from now, I might be like, oh, that wasn't very good.
Yeah. And then it like makes you doubt yourself more, because you're like, if I thought I was that good, like now what? Like, yeah, am I losing? Like, you know? And anyway,
it's tough because there's no right answer. That's the thing.
No, it's like you probably are good. And I always talk about this to like students in my beginner class, because they'll learn how to do the alphabet and they'll be like, oh my God, I'm still so bad at this. And I'm like, first of all, you've been learning for 3 hours. Like, you're really good for 3 hours. And second of all, like, if an average person came to you right now and saw what you did, you're so much better than the person who doesn't know anything, and they're going to be amazed by it. So it's like the only people that you're worried about not being good enough in front of are the other artists who feel the same way, you know, like the people you're comparing yourself to all have that same feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. On this note, the question I want, like similar to this, and like part of it is, what are the times, like, can you pinpoint the times where you feel the most self-doubt, and like, where are they coming from? Or like the worst you feel in your business ever?
It's two. I have jealousy issues, and I know that about me. And sometimes I'll see other people get jobs and I'll think, why didn't I get that? Was I not good enough? Did the person not think I was talented enough for something like this? So that's one of them. And two, and I try so hard not to let social media have that much impact on how I feel about myself. But when I think that something should have performed much better than it did, and the outcome is not what I was hoping, that can be a bit of a blow too. Because then I'm like, is it the social media aspect, or is it just my art that's not hitting the spot?
I think there's one more that you're forgetting, because you've talked to me about it before. And that is like when something goes wrong with a client.
But that hurts my soul. Like that makes me question.
That's what I mean. That's like the most stomach dropping, like, I don't want to do this anymore feeling.
Yeah, because I make mistakes, and it's inattention, and I have a hard time knowing like how much of it is me just not paying attention versus my ADHD. And it just like, I just like went over this one thing. Like, we'll say one time I did this permanent project on a chalkboard, and they wanted it horizontal. Wait, no, that's this way. They wanted it vertical, and I did it horizontally, and it ended up being fine. But for a good few hours, I was like, that's it. My business is over. Like, I've fucked this. So things like that. Yeah.
Tell us more client mess up stories. People love hearing those.
Okay. So that was one. I once did a seating chart and got a bunch of the people's last names wrong. They were maybe like Greek or something. So there's a lot of double consonants and things like that I'm just
Consonants.
consonant. What's a constant? What did
Consonant is not a word. Consonant. No T in it.
Consonant.
Yeah. Consonant.
Sure?
Yes.
That sounds wrong in my mouth. Consonant. I've been saying that wrong
I'm gonna Google this
my whole life.
Yeah, but that's not a word in French, is it? Consonant. In articulatory phonetics, a consonant is a speech sound that is articulated with complete
I can't even
or partial.
articulate that.
Anyway, go on with your consonants.
Yeah, so that was once where it was just the way that something was worded. I was doing a bunch of signs for the same client and they wanted doubles of some of them. And so it was like the menu. So I did like double of the same menu, thinking they had one on one table and one on something else, but then that's not what they wanted. They wanted doubles of something else. So that was like really confusing. I really need things like laid out. Like you tell me what goes on specific things or else.
Well, and that's like when I email a client, like back to the how you're emailing with them and whatever, like when I email a client and they're sending me their list, I'll say like, please make sure you've double and triple and quadruple checked it. And please send it to me in this format. And please like give me a recap of everything we've talked about and exactly what you want, like before I touch it. But you're probably there going through each email, like, trying to like piece things together. Yeah. Cause you don't want to bother them because you want them to like you.
This isn't a therapy session. That, or like, I often mess up with how long I think things are going to take. I tend to think things will be less long than they are. And it's not, like anything that has to do with money gets me feeling really like I will put off talking about money as long as I can because it just feels so unnatural.
So with a client, you'll like go through the whole process before you tell them anything about what it's going to cost?
Well, it depends on the scale. If it's something itty bitty, then I'm like, welcome sign, sweet. This is how much my starting is. That's one thing. But if it's like a big mural or it's something that I really want, then I'm always afraid that the cost is going to be the main reason they say no. And so it's hard for me to talk about it then. Because I don't want that to be the reason why, like I want them to see the value. And then maybe it's because I don't see the value myself or I don't feel like I'm worth that much, This is turning into therapy.
Well, it's all of these things are things that Joanne and I talked about in that pricing webinar. Did you ever watch that?
I watched portions of it.
It's like the 5 keys to confident pricing. We talked about like, first of all, scarcity mindset. So like it's a job that you really, really want. And you're like, oh, a job like this won't come around again. So I don't want to screw up the pricing or I don't want to go too high and make them lose it. But then they lose confidence in you, Whereas if you just come at them right away and you're like, my starting is this, no matter what, like, give me the details and like, or if you're okay with this, give me more details and all, like, which is what I did for this chat time guy. And then the other thing, what was the other thing you said? Oh, you don't see the value. It's because one of those things where like I couldn't spend that money. So I remember, and I used to sell jewelry. And I remember the owner once saying, they're not shopping with your wallet. So you can't assume that they can't afford. Exactly. That's the thing is, that was one of the points in our 5 keys to confident pricing is like, you're not shopping with their wallet. If they're coming to you, they either they have no idea what to expect and you haven't like laid out any examples anywhere. You don't have pricing on your website. So they have no idea what to expect. And if they come in there thinking it's going to be 100 and it's 1,000, then that has nothing to do with you and your art. It's just like, they don't know. But most people, if you've marketed yourself properly and they come to you, they know what to expect. So they can afford it, which is like, that's how you make yourself more confident in it, is if you just market yourself properly. You have a price list on your website, you talk about pricing in your posts, like where they find you, there's a note somewhere that indicates to them that it's not a cheap service. So by the time they come to you, they already know what to expect.
Yeah, I don't do those things. There might be the start of my problem.
Yeah. So go watch that webinar again.
Yeah.
I just noticed, Okay, I saw somebody say your
Mabz.
ceilings look the same. Like people have tuned in. We're
Hi,
we're beside each
together.
other. We're sitting at my kitchen island, but I just want to go grab her.
How funny would it be if that's how obsessed I was with you that I was like, I must have the same ceilings. Margaret.
She's in the box on the couch.
Did you bring that box there so she wouldn't bug us here?
I brought the box there because I closed my office door and she sits at my office door because she wants to get in her box.
Yeah. Okay.
So I put it on the
couch. Has to
couch.
go.
She would rather sit in this box than on the comfy couch, like on a blanket.
Yeah. But she also stares at table legs. So I don't know how much that has to do with her versus like, she's a bit of a weird cat.
She is definitely a weird cat. Okay, more questions. That was a deep one. Same person though, she said she's also curious. When you're fashionably late, is it because you overcomplicate or because you oversimplify? Overcomplicate would be like I don't even know.
Okay, so I'll say I have I recently learned this term. It's like time blindness. I have a very hard time with knowing how much time has passed. Like between when we started this video and now, I would guess something that's so far away from what the truth is. Like
Don't look at the clock. How long do you think this video has been going on?
15 minutes.
Okay.
Is it good?
36.
Oh. So like things like that. I have a hard time with knowing how long things will take and just the passing of time. So I'll think I have enough time to do, like, say this morning, do all these things, get my lunch and all that stuff. And then I forgot my lunch at the door and had to turn around and come back and get it. So
there's a clarification.
Oh, okay.
I guess overcomplicated is like if you think too much and you need to grab a lot more stuff than you planned and stuff, or you didn't plan for anything and you realized you forgot stuff.
It really depends. Like say I have a job, say I'm going on site. I like to prepare my kit before bed. So it's out of the way. I have everything I need and I'll like pop it in front of the door or something like that. But if it's something like I'm just coming here and it's not, there's no money on the line or anything like that, then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to make my breakfast. Am I going to shower? I don't know. Do I have time? Probably when I don't, things like that. Does that answer? That answers it.
Yeah. I think they're asking about, because in the YouTube videos where we went on site together,
oh,
we were
well,
always
that
late.
also, okay. That also has to do, I don't come into the city very much and I can't parallel park. I could if my life depended on it, but I try to avoid it at all costs. And I like to be able to just drive into a parking spot. So I will drive very far from where I need to be to avoid parallel parking or just tight parking spaces.
I'd say that's another personality difference. I am an exceptional parallel parker.
No, oh, good for you. It's hard. And it's scary, and the stress of people behind you. You could kill a bicyclist by not paying attention. Like there's just too many factors.
Too many variables for you. Okay. How's your new tripod?
Love it.
Tell everybody about the tripod.
So Becca got me a tripod for my birthday. I had been using pretty much anything to prop a phone up for a long time. I've used the gooseneck ones where you just clamp it onto something, but there's like, you press play and then they wobble. Which was annoying. And I've been wanting one of these for so long. And a few months ago when we were working together, she had a second one. And I was like, she's so fancy. She has two. Like, why does she have two? And then it turns out it was for me the whole time. But yeah, she got me one and I love it. It does what I need it to do.
Dora said that your driving and your parking issue is your van.
It's not a van. It is a Dodge Journey. What are
those
those called?
Van.
What are those called? Is it like an SUV?
No, it's a van.
It's not. When you go on the website,
crossover. Is it called a crossover?
No, I think they call it an SUV. It doesn't have. It has open doors. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. It has open doors. It doesn't have slide doors. There is three-row seating though, which is good. So when my kids are fighting, I can put one in the back.
Dory says you have a mom van.
Dory.
All right. Evelyn asked, what was your first paid calligraphy job and how did the client find you?
So I had to scroll on Instagram to try and like I had jobs that wouldn't be considered calligraphy jobs. I think like everything started just friends, family, you know, like that. Like somebody was like, "Oh, I see." It was all chalkboards too. I was doing chalkboards, and then I did one thing for a friend, and then another, like a family friend asked me to do something, and then another friend asked me to do something. So I did things like that first. And then the first thing that I had that kind of looked like calligraphy, I'm pretty sure I was doing faux calligraphy and it's not very good, was envelopes. And then I did a few like mirror menus. And then I like started to go into the wedding-ish stuff. Because I fully thought that I was just going to do chalkboards. And originally like pregnancy progress chalkboards, because that's how I got into this was I was doing chalkboards for each of my kids every week, and then like month, and then year, and then I missed one birthday and said I'm not doing this anymore. So
I mean, that's a lot.
It was, yeah, and it took the fun out of it too, because I was doing it like my kids were getting like the very minimal energy chalkboard, so I was like, it's not fun anymore. So that's a life lesson. If something's not fun, move on. Don't hold on to things just because you feel like you have to do it.
This is a really good question that just came up in the chat. Do you try to make each mural design different, or do you try and keep it similar so your work can be recognized?
I think that it depends on the client. I feel like there's a specific style that I enjoy doing, but I don't want to be boxed in either. And I've been trying to get jobs that aren't flowers, just to like, and I know of course I could do things from home myself just to show more work. So I think it depends on what your goals are. If your goals are to have a very specific style and do one thing, then stick to it. But if you want to be able to be a bit more versatile, then yeah, I think it's very dependent on what your goals are and what you want to do.
There are different ways to like for example, if I'm doing a mural that has lettering in it, my calligraphy style is recognizable, and my block lettering style, like I always do kind of the same the same combo of calligraphy and block lettering, and like your style is different than mine or whatever. But like, yeah, there's a couple people in Ottawa that you like, if we drive by and see somebody did something on windows or on a mural or whatever, we're like, oh, I know exactly who that person is. I'd say for me, and I think for you too, is like, I'm not gonna, it'd be rare that I would say no to a window job or a mural job just because it doesn't fit into like the style that I want to do. You know, like I just love painting on walls and painting on windows. And if you have a job that you feel like I could do, I can do it. Like I can figure it out, unless it's like something crazy, like crazy illustration or whatever. I
have a current client that came to me for his and hers wedding shoes, and she wants flowers, but the husband to be wants like cartoony stuff, like Homer Simpson, Star Wars, that kind of thing. And I probably could have attempted it, but one, it's not really something that I want to continue doing. Like this, I know the stress of it would just not be worth it. And so I told him there was another artist locally that would probably be better suited. And so he took on the men's shoes, and I'm still doing like a portion of it in the back. But yeah, I knew that my skills, even though I probably could do it, I don't think it was worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know your strengths too. Like I think every artist knows when something, you can have an image of what you would want it to turn out like, but if you've never done it before, you're like, that's probably not going to turn out well, and it's not going to go well for me or for the client. Like I'd rather not. Yeah. I'd rather
the client have an outcome that they're pleased with than me try to prove that I can do something.
Yeah. Okay. I loved your workshop during workshop week, and I fell in love with your personality too. A few questions for you. Do you ever procrastinate? If so, how do you approach making the first step and actually act instead of overthinking and delaying even more?
Well, you tell me what I should do. This is like, and it's one of those things that as soon I can't start. I was the same in high school when there was like a essay I had to write or something. Once I start and get going, I can focus and I get like just hyper focus and I can be in the zone, but starting is so hard. And I think it's like the fear of messing up. Like as soon as you start, you could mess up, but if you don't start, then you're not messing up, you know? So that I get stuck in that. And it's like a mental thing. And sometimes like coming here and having somebody that helps and just seeing somebody else work. And I heard recently that that's something with ADHD people too, is they can kind of like mimic. So if you're working there, I'm like, oh, I have to work, you know, and
Tappa.
Yeah, that's really all I've been doing this whole time. Becca thinks I'm working and just blank screens of like, blah, 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 blah. No, yeah. So it's like, I've tried timers. Timers has been helping because I know there's an end coming up soon. The only problem with that is that once that timer goes off, there's a break. And if I'm really in the zone, then I shouldn't stop. I should just keep going. So I don't know how to fix it yet. I mean, I do, I just don't do it. You know?
Yeah. I remember listening, I remember I sent it to you. There was a Mel Robbins audio book, I think, where she would just like bring people on and just do like kind of a coaching therapy session or whatever. And they were all about different things, but one of them was about someone who procrastinated. And I remember listening to it and going, that is really good advice. And I can't remember what the advice was, but I sent it to you and I don't think you ever listened to it. I asked you like 10 times. You procrastinated on listening to it and now you could
probably find it in the search.
But yeah, like look up Mel Robbins Procrastination and I bet you would find it. It was really good. Like it was probably sandwiched in with a bunch of other things, but like the whole thing was good. Okay, the same person, more questions. I often feel there are so many people out there already doing this. Why would anyone contact a beginner like me? Which in turn prevents me from even trying. How would you fight that feeling?
If you need to start small, then start small. Like I said, I didn't think this would really turn into business either, but I started and I was just doing things for friends and family friends. And then the first time I got an email from a stranger, it was like, oh my God, like they found me, they reached out to me, gave me a little ego boost, and then do that job. And then like take things on, you know, at first I know I probably said yes to too many things and to things that I probably shouldn't have said yes to.
But I think all beginners say that. Like in retrospect, I shouldn't have said yes to these things.
But you don't know until you know, right?
Well, yeah, and it's good experience to do that, to know what you don't want to do.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a big thing too. Yeah. But yeah, if you like, you can do work for yourself and post it. It doesn't have to be client work. You can show your own things, show your own practice and skills and behind the scenes and all that stuff. You don't have to wait for some imaginary dream client to get started.
This question is about like why would a client approach a beginner instead of a...
Yeah, but we thought the same.
For sure. And the kind of I feel like two things I would say about it. The first is it's not about how experienced you are often, it's about your style. So develop a style that people will know to associate with you. That's a big one for artists. Because, you know, if you're the only person who can do that style of things, it doesn't matter. People don't care about your experience. They care about like what they're going to get now. And the other one is like, I feel like a lot of beginners always look at it and go, well, I'm a beginner. And so why would people approach me? So I have to give them incentive to approach me. So I'm just going to drop my prices really low.
Which is something I did.
Yeah. And we all, for sure, all did that. But it's another thing that's in that panic-free pricing webinar. It's a free webinar. It's like, go to the happyevercrafter.com/pricing and it'll bring it up. But we talk about that a lot, about like how to position yourself if you're a beginner so that you're in the right spot. So it feels good to you. And so that the clients like see you in the right slot, if that makes sense. And that, you're not like undercutting people, but you're also not feeling like you're pretending to be more experienced than you are, kind of
But
thing.
plus, you're asking that question with your own knowledge of you being a beginner. So somebody else looking at your work won't necessarily know that you're a beginner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, it's like the whole wallet thing. You don't know what the other person's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So why stop? Why use that excuse? Because it's just stopping yourself.
Well, yeah. And if you don't start now, you're always going to be that beginner, you know, like you can't expect to come out the gates and get the massive clients that everyone else is getting. But what are you looking at?
It's so windy there, but not over there.
Oh.
Trees.
Okay. We're running out of time, but Lori asked, when we've been hired together for a job, do we plan it out together at someone's house or do we plan it out separately? She also asked about, do you love having music in the background and what genre do you enjoy?
Okay, so we have worked on projects together, but often we'll like, you do something, I do something. Becca has some skills and some computer programs that I don't do. So then, for example, like the bubble tea things, like I drew the bubble teas and then shipped them through the clouds to her, and then she did the computer stuff with it.
Like we often will work on like a mock-up together where we'll brainstorm back and forth, usually just on the phone or like FaceTime or whatever.
Even just texting really.
Or texting, and we'll get a picture of the windows or whatever it is we're working on and kind of like add little things and send it back and forth and make like a mock-up until we're happy with it to send. That's kind of our process normally.
And then music, again, very mood dependent. I've been trying to like, you know, do subliminal
that's right.
Subliminal messages in my own brain with like, if I listen to classical, I'll be smarter. Because if it's too fun, then I'll end up dancing and things take too long. So if I want to take time, then I'll listen to like pop or like, I don't even know what it's called, but like old timey, like that Buttercup song that I like.
Yeah, I remember we were doing a mural one time and we put on like 70s throwbacks and just almost fell off our ladders.
Also, we did like an early 2000s one once, and that was fun.
Yeah, we'll pick an era and kind of do like throwbacks, and that's if we're in like a space that's closed and we can bump some music. But normally, like if we're in a store or whatever, they have their own music. Okay, last question.
I don't want it to end. This is fun. I'll come back.
Oh, no, we can do them all. There's only like, we'll just go over an hour a little bit.
Okay.
This is from Courtney. She said, Mabz, I remember when you intentionally set out to improve your florals and now you're basically a queen. Any tips? Where did you start?
Right there. Like just like that.
Just start.
Like, I remember just doing like, literally just like follow my finger. Okay. Just like flower.
That's the end of the answer. She did it. That's it.
And then I just kept going. No, but like it takes practice. I really like to practice with real flowers when I can. And I take a ton of photos of flowers. Like I'm the person who like will knock on somebody's door and say, can I take some photos of your flowers in your garden? Especially different angles. Cause that's something I have a hard time with is like, if you ask me to draw a hand like this, I can do it. A hand like this. Yes. But perspective is hard for me. So having photos that I can reference is really good. So I can see the way that petals and things like that go, but it's just practice really. It's just.
So when you set out to intentionally practice, you would just pull up a picture and try and draw it. You never like looked up how to draw a rose or like how to.
I did like, I have done like Pinterest. I do have some books, like I have the Ali K's books, and that helped. That one helped with like a bent petal. Like I just couldn't do it for the longest time, and now I feel like I understand the way that these shapes work, so I can do it without always having to reference something.
Yeah, I'll pull up like I'll open Procreate on my iPad and pull up a picture of like a bouquet of flowers or whatever, and I'll just sit in front with the TV and I'll like trace over the shapes, not to use for a project, but to just study learn. It. Yeah. And like, I find the tracing helps me remember the shapes better than if I have to try and look at the picture and draw it myself. I just trace it, and
I learn better doing as well.
Yeah.
So
like trace it and then turn off the picture and look at it and think like, okay, what was that? And I just like do it over and over and over and over again. And those flowers become.
Yeah. And the thing too is that if say like a peony, I can't
say that word again.
Peony.
Okay. You said peony.
A peony. I have a hard time with like, because it's so many layers. So I often start in the center and then go outwards and then have to erase and then go and then erase and then go. I can't work this way.
From the outside in?
Yeah.
No,
I work from the inside out.
Yeah, always.
So that's why I like to do it in pencil, and I like to work in shapes and stuff like that. But yeah, there's like, it's not like I can just whip out a peony. I have to
have a reference.
Yeah. Or at least like do an erase and do an erase and do an erase.
I would say that it's rare. Like I have probably 4 different kinds of flowers that I can just draw now because I've done them so many times. But if someone asked me to like draw a certain type of flower, I'm
like
never gonna just doodle it. I'm always gonna like pull up a reference picture and study the shapes, and then like
if you asked me to draw a donkey, I'd have a hard time. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
I can't just draw anything.
Okay. Yeah, someone said, did I read Becca's email correctly that you're both working on a signage class together? What can you share about that? When is it coming? Etc. etc.
To be determined on the time, but fall.
So it'll probably be, we're hoping for like late October. Can't promise. It's my feet.
Oh God, I didn't know what was happening. That was concerning.
Probably late October. It's a lot. It's a big undertaking. We're realizing.
We're like, there's going to be lots of like how-tos and videos and just helpful material.
Yeah. So we're essentially like, we've written the whole outline and everything. And it's basically going to be like, the first section will be about this might change, but how we have it right now is the first section will be about tools. And like, we're doing some huge comparison charts of like what the best pens are and why, and like all the, which ones to get for which projects. And yeah, so like what's in the toolkit, what are all the things you need to have, like all the tool stuff. Then we're going to do like how to work on different surfaces. So like wood, glass, acrylic, mirrors, like all different things that you could create signage out of. Basically, we're going to cover them all, and like the tips and tricks for how to work on each thing. And then we're going to do a module on how to actually create different types of signage. So like seating chart, welcome sign, like all the, and it's not all wedding stuff, but it's like, those are very common. So seating chart is probably going to be the hardest thing for us to write because there's so many different factors. There's
so many ways to do things.
There's so many ways, and we do them differently.
Yeah.
So I think that, and that's actually why we thought it'd be fun to do this course as a duo, because we can show you like my process for a seating chart is very different than hers. And so we'll probably do like both ways. And anyway, it's going to be like how to work with sign materials, and then how to do actual sign types, and then how to do it as a business. And like pricing your signs and working.
Sure you got the info so you don't do horizontal things when you're supposed to be vertical. Working
with clients and stuff. And now based on this conversation, you'll know who's writing which sections.
I should really just read everything you're writing.
Yeah. But yeah, so if that's something that you guys are, if you're watching this being like, I need that, I want to do signage stuff, because signage is the most fun thing we do for clients, like hands down. Signing, it's going to be called Signing Up. Clever. So you can sign up for the wait list at signingupcourse.com. So we put a little waiting list thing up, and we'll email you guys when we have any more information. But right now we're just like in the weeds writing the thing.
In the weeds. I like that.
It's a pretty common saying.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think like water weeds, like reeds or reeds, water in the water. Is that a thing?
Weeds.
Yes, but reeds.
Reeds are
Like REED?
yeah. Those are
Isn't that like a
those are different.
watery, mucky plant?
In ponds, I think maybe like a.
In the weeds.
Anyway, we're deep in the weeds. Okay, couple more questions. Let's do these fast.
Okay.
What's your favorite kind of calligraphy work / job and why?
Murals.
Mhm.
Create like freedom murals where it's like just do.
Just here's a wall, have at her, which is really rare.
Yeah. Sort of had that once.
Okay. What type of job would you have if you couldn't do calligraphy, creative stuff?
Okay, so this is like if I'm reaching for the stars versus like what I actually could do. So I think I'd be good in our questions of the day thing. I would enjoy being a florist, I think, like designing floral centerpieces and things like that. I have always found like plays and musicals very fascinating. So like costume / set design would be cool. I think I'm stumbling right now, which proves that maybe I wouldn't, but I would love to be a radio show host.
Like Jenny on Hot 89.9. She's
Hot
like
89.9, exactly. Like I would love to work with them.
I think
we'd be friends.
She's a personality like yours. Like they're kind of like laughing at her on air, but like she's entertaining in like a.
I just don't know anything about music, like artists and stuff like that. You know,
I feel like that's the least of the job.
Okay.
You know,
and I really enjoy writing, like creative writing. So I think that being an author of some sort, or like blogging seriously, or
I think what we've learned from this episode is that there's no straight answers with you. There's no like, I want to be an astronaut. It's like, I love
space too. I love space. I spend at least 3 to 4 times a week. I go in my backyard and just stare at the stars.
Well, I think there's probably people watching who saw the time that I was making stories of you and you didn't know while we were doing a mural and you were just going off about aliens.
Oh my God. There's so much to say about aliens though.
Like sometimes we'll be doing a job and it's just Mabz. Mabz is just talking about something. And it's like sometimes the sentence is cut halfway and she changes topics.
Because I'm already somewhere else.
Trying to follow the conversation. So I put my camera on her one time and
I really do have a hard time with, I've already completed the sentence in my mind. So I'm already at the next thing, but and then I just keep going. And then it's like, it doesn't follow unless you're in here. So it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah. I've gotten to know you well enough now that I can see where you're going and then just, Anyway. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
This is sort of a 2-part. I'm going to skip the first one because we've covered it, but the second one is good. If there is something you would change about your job, what would it be?
Having to deal with the business. I would have somebody else do it or just learn to separate myself from it. Like put on a hat, be a big girl kind of thing. If I could have somebody just be like, today you're going to draw flowers. I feel like it's late to give me.
Here's your task for the day.
Yeah. That would make my life so much better. I would just do the creative stuff and none of the back end things.
My answer would be if I could somehow run my courses and like have these communities and stuff without social media, I would love that. That's my answer right now. I'm burnt out by social media currently.
There's just so much.
Sometimes I love it. And let's be honest, like social media made my business.
Yeah.
But if there was a way that it could be, like if I could just have all these people in real life and never have to post anything on social media and just like hang out with people and it would never work.
But that's kind of the beauty of it though, too, that you need the social media to reach all of those people.
Yeah. It's just sometimes, you get, and now like all the different ones, like I make a YouTube video and then I got to put it on Facebook. I got to put it on Instagram. I got to put it on TikTok. I got to put it in my email newsletter. It's like, it's never ending.
It's a lot of work,
but it's the beauty and the curse, the blessing and the curse.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
No way. We'd have to flip that. I could be both. I'm a Gemini, so I can be Beauty and the Beast. You can be like a lumière. What's a lumière? What's his name?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The candle man.
Oh.
Lumière.
No.
We'll Google it after.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been fun. We are gonna now Lumière. Marie-André Paquette says Lumière.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Say that word.
Lumière.
Lumière.
Well, that's because I'm like Canadian French. Lumière.
Lumière. Lumière.
Lumière.
I feel like the Parisians do like a lot more like
so much more pretty than wow.
Yeah, when I went to Paris and I tried to speak French, they laughed at me.
Yeah, I refused because I was like, I don't want them to...
I just went to Starbucks and tried to order a coffee and the girl was like,
no, I refused because I knew that my French was too good to be
bad.
An English person trying to speak French.
Yeah.
It was like trying to speak good French.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm just going to speak English and not embarrass myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mabz, thanks for doing this. I'll ask you anything. People already want you to come back.
You're welcome.
Yours is slower than mine. It's like lagging.
It's probably just my computer.
Yeah, we got to go because we have writing a course to do. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Go to signingupcourse.com.
Sign up.
Go sign up for the wait list for signing up. And yeah.
Thanks for having me. You don't have a choice though for a lot of it.
We also
I'm in your life now.
We gotta go. Actually, we have to write the course, and we're going to see a site. We're doing a site visit for a mural. So
we're gonna get snacks,
bubble teas.
Oh, and who was the friend? Wait, though, who was the friend who sent all the food gifts? I would like to thank them too.
These?
Yeah. Oh, those. Yeah.
Okay.
I told Becca I saw her stories yesterday with the brownies, and I was like, I'll help you. Oh, thank you. Whoever sent that to her, because I'm benefiting.
To anyone who didn't see my story yesterday, this was full yesterday. I already ate one and a half, but they're like cookie cake bar things. Yeah. So we gotta, we're gonna go on site and also eat all these cookies. So we gotta go. Okay. Bye guys. How do I turn it off? I don't know. Awkward.
Okay. Do something.